So we are now live, and we're going to be doing some Aerotow today. Working on Aerotow, we're going to be flying the ASK 21 here out of Les Bled Airport in Slovenia, which is your default airport in Condor, because that's where the developers are from. Woo! Okay. So we're getting ready to take off here. Just a second. Okay. Our Aerotow is kind of one of the basic things that you need to learn. There's our tow plane off to the right, who's going to come up and get us. When we're sitting here getting ready to tow, we go ahead and we'd run our before takeoff checklist every single time. CB sit, CBE. So controls, free and correct. Want to make sure they're properly moving on the outside, but also want to make sure that and I can look back and I can see pitch. Okay, pitch up, pitch down. Okay, you can see a little bit of movement out there at the wingtip, but not much. Okay, CB sit, CBE controls, ballast. Okay, no ballast in the aircraft. CB sit, S, straps. Okay, no straps in this case that I'd have. Instruments, okay. Our altimeter is set to 1650, which is our field elevation here at Les Bled. And everything else is 0, as it should be. Trim is set by default. And then CBE, canopy, down and locked. B, air brakes, B for brakes. Okay, just making sure those are in fact closed. B and E. Emergency, below 200 feet, we're going to land straight ahead. Above 200 feet will be above our decision altitude, and we can decide to turn back at any time to back to and land here back on the runway. Okay, I'm going to give my my wing walker, okay, a thumbs up. Okay, and and once they don't have you do it in the game here, but now that the tow plane is going to start coming out here. Okay, once he's in position, the wing walker would love my wings, and after I've been hooked up, I'd waggle my wings with my feet. Now we're going. Okay, hold the stick back about an inch to an inch and a half. Okay, and as we speed up, we want to generate more lift, so we actually have to push a little bit forward. Just want to stay with the tow plane. Okay, keep him on the horizon. Okay, and 200 feet. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of trim. So I just don't have to push so much on the stick. Okay, he's starting to turn to the right. I'm going to turn to the right with him. The goal is to point at his outside wingtip. Okay, match his angle of bank with left and right stick. And then also keep him on the horizon, point at that outside wingtip, okay? I was getting a little bit far out, so I increased my angle of bank. And then reduced it as I got back into position again. Okay. Okay. Now I'm not putting the, now I don't want the to be so low on the tow plane that I'm actually looking up out on the mountains. That's not the horizon. The horizon is where what would be the horizon if the mountains weren't there. So I went down there just for a second, just to show. I don't want to do that. I want to, because then I'd have to be constantly adjusting my altitude. Look, if I got to keep him right on the mountains, that's incorrect technique. And then I've constantly got to be going up and down and up and down. No. Imagine where would the horizon be if there were no mountains. Okay, got a little bit on the inside of him there. Okay. The beeping we're hearing is from the audio vario. It's telling where there's lift. We can remember those spots when it's beeping. The higher pitch the chirp, that's more lift there. Okay. Now I'm pointing his outside wingtip. Oh, I'm starting to move out too much. Okay. And just stay with him. Okay. I've set the tow height to be 3,000 feet, which is a standard training tow that you would normally use. Okay. Okay, don't want to get on this side, so I'm going to reduce my angle of bank ever so slightly. And I'm pointing at him, so I know I'm banked too much there. Okay. Now I can see that I'm actually banked to the right, which I want it to be because I wanted to get in closer to him. Okay, coming up on 4,000 feet. We started at 1,650 feet. So once we get up to 4,650 feet, that's where we'll get off. Oh, listen to that. That is a great lift we're in right there. If you're practicing if you're getting ready to do cross country, if you hear that in the real glider, you can get off when you're almost at your altitude. You find yourself in great lift. Here we're specifically working on the Aerotow, how to do that. Okay. Coming up. Now look what he's going to do in the game, what they do when we get to the top of our tow. What is he going to do? Get a little bit higher than the actual tow. Oh, what's he going to do here? Oh, he's starting to waggle his wings. He's saying, get off, get off. So look ahead, look left, look right, clear, release. Okay. He'll descend to the left, and we will turn to the right. Okay. Looking out, looking for traffic. Okay, look, that first traffic that we know is going to be there is the tow plane. And he should be descending off to the right here. I lost the tow plane. And he's going to return back to the airport there. Okay. Let's go ahead and do some more things on tow. So we're going to restart this, pause it, and restart the flight. And that'll set us right back up so we can tow again. Hey, look, I've landed. Amazing. Okay. CB said CBE, controls, free and correct. Ballast is no ballast. S. Straps, I'd be strapped in. Instruments, okay, altimeter set 1650, okay. Radio, and all the other instruments are reading 0 as they should. Trim, okay, we want to have nice 0 trim. Trim is set for takeoff. Canopy, down and locked. You push it with your hands. Air brakes, okay, they open and they close. Brakes checked. E emergency procedure, okay, below 200 feet. Land straight ahead. Above 200 feet, we're gonna turn back to the field and land. Ready for takeoff. Okay. Ooh, got a nice little Piper Pawnee, it looks like. Standard tow plane in America. Thumbs up to my wing walker. They love my wings. I'm gonna waggle my whip. Once he's there, I'd wait till here. I'd waggle mine to show that I'm ready. He'd waggle back, and we'd take off, holding the stick about 1 inch to 1.5 inches behind. Okay, driving with my feet while my wheel's on the ground, and keeping the wings level with left and right stick. As we speed up, okay, I don't want to balloon up and kite him and pull his tail up. So I'm actually holding a little, as we speed up, I actually hold a little bit of forward stick to stay with him. I'm gonna go ahead and reach down now and trim a little forward so I don't have to push quite so hard forward. Okay, again, keeping him on the horizon. Okay, he turns. I'm gonna start my turn. I want to stay on that outside wingtip. Oh, I'm coming in a little bit too much. Okay, so I'm gonna shallow my bank, and then I need to steepen it a little bit here. Just keep on that outside wingtip. Okay, as he comes around. Okay. Okay, and I actually missed my 200 feet call. Oh no, I was talking. I missed my 200 feet call. If you do that enough times, your instructor will pull the tow rope early to remind you to do it. And I've done it to people, not exactly at 200 feet, but I'll wait a couple extra 100 feet if they forget. It's an easy way to remember how to do it after that. Okay. Okay, turning right again. I'm starting to get in on him. Got on the inside. We want to stay point at that outside wingtip on the turns, because we don't want to create a slackline situation. If we get on the outside of his turn, we'll be going faster than he is, and then that'll cause us to pop up. Okay. If we get on the inside of him, that will cause us to get a slackline situation, and then we will, once he straightens out, it can pull the rope really tight and potentially even break the rope. Okay, so we're just staying with him. Okay, he's turning, so I'm turning with him. Okay, he did not turn very much there. Okay. Now I don't really want to like turn if I'm slightly off here off to the side. I don't want to turn in towards him, because what'll happen is as I turn into him, oops, I love my wings, and then I'll swing to the other side. Okay, you kind of want to just slide in when he's flying straight. You just want to slide in on his position. Okay, let's see what happens if I get on the outside of his. I'm not going to bank sufficiently. Okay. Okay, I'm getting pulled. Oh, and I pop up. Okay. So that's not good. Okay. Don't want to get on the outside because then what happens is you get pulled. You almost kind of slingshot around. You go faster than he's going if you're on the outside, and then you pop up. Okay. And if we do that, we just want to gently point at his wingtip and ease ourselves down, because if we dive down, that'll create its own slack line. Okay. So I'm just staying with him, staying on the horizon. I don't want to keep him. I want to keep him on where the horizon, where he would be on the horizon if there were no mountains. Oh, we're getting up to our altitude. Okay, so he's starting to turn, but now the computer is going to say he's going to get up to his altitude. So he's probably going to start waggling his wings at us. Oh, he's waggling his wings. Oh, I had trouble following the tow plane. Okay, he's going to turn to the left, and I'm going to turn to the right. Okay. See if we can see where he is. The flarm says he should be about off our right wingtip here. Okay, there he is. Okay, I could see him. He is just on the mountain. He's going down the mountain towards where some of those houses begin, right in the middle of the screen there. Okay, that little white, the wings that are kind of horizontally, just going straight away from us. Okay, so we have the traffic in sight. Let's watch him land. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to watch him land. And what he'll do is he'll make left traffic to runway 14 is what he'll do. Oh, there he is on the edge of the screen there. He's kind of in that shadow of the cloud. 1 o'clock low, not a factor. Okay, he's going to be on a... Okay. So we're going to come down also. I'm going to just... This is just for the game. I want to watch the tow plane, see what happens. Okay. Okay, he's downwind right now. Here at Less Blood. And he'll do a left traffic. He's going to make left traffic, so his turns will be to the left. When we say left traffic, that means that's the direction of your turns. So he's turning downwind to base right now, ahead of me there. Okay. And then what he's going to do is, oh, I can even see his shadow underneath him. That's great. Okay, he's turning final. Left turn to final. So he's making left traffic. Oh, there he is. Obviously, you would not want to get this low if you're not doing a traffic pattern yourself, but this is a game, so we can watch him land. Okay, he's going to land off in the grass to the right. And then actually what he'll do is he'll go forward and then he'll taxi back. Okay, there he is. He's starting that turn. So we're going to restart this. Now let's start showing some of the issues that you can have. We'll say we're ready to take off. CB sit, CBE. Already performed that. Okay, here comes our tow plane. And what it does, Condor will just cycle you through a different styles of tow planes. Okay. All right, well, let's just show that I'm ready. Okay, he'll wag his. I'm gonna hold the stick. Hold the stick back about an inch and a half. Ooh. Don't pop up. Okay. Little low on him. And 200 feet. Uh-oh. Rope break. Okay, most important thing. First, get the nose down so you have flying airspeed. Okay? Then we can turn back and do the impossible turn. Okay? It's not impossible, particularly in a glider. 200 feet is fine. Okay? And I'll land back on the runway where I started. Okay, here we go. Okay. And wheel brake. It's not impossible. Okay. Now, the first time it happens to you, it can be very, very, very startling. And usually what your instructor will do is when you're flying in gliders for the first time, you'll get the, they'll usually wait till 500-600 feet to give you enough time. And they'll also oftentimes wait for you to be in the turn so that way you don't have to make a full 180-degree turn. Okay. Oh, yay. It's Piper Pawnee. Okay, pulling the stick back, inch and a half. Keeping the wings level with stick, and then driving with my feet. Pointing at the tow plane, keeping us straight with my feet. A little more left rudder. Okay. Okay. Keeping them on the horizon. Primarily looking down at him. I can check every once in a while. Oh, we're at 200 feet. Look down at the altimeter just to see how high we are. Okay, now another problem is if you do pop up, let's say you let go, let's say as you speed up, you start popping up really high on the tow plane, okay? That's called kiting. You can actually get in a position where if you're higher than the tow plane, you can be pulling his nose down because remember, you're attached to the back of the tow plane, okay? And what can happen is you can actually pull the tow plane into the ground. This has happened a number of times, and tow pilots have gotten killed because of this. The types of tow ropes and attachments that we use now make that much more difficult. It's much safer now because of that. But if you ever get in a position where you can't see the tow plane, I can't see him. That's an immediate release situation. Oh, I couldn't see him. Got too high. Oh, there he is off to the left. Okay, I didn't pull him into the ground, but I got into a position where I was too high on him. Less bled traffic. This is ASK 21 533 Romeo Sierra. Left downwind, landing runway 14. Okay, U stall, undercarriage, down and lock. Speed, we want to go at the the yellow triangle or higher, 49 or higher, so we'll say 50. Trim is set. Air brakes. Look at all those bugs I'm getting on my wing. Yuck. Okay. Get that nose down. Look and land. Okay, winds are calm. Feels clear. Less bled traffic. This is ASK 21. 533 Romeo Sierra. Final runway 14. Okay. I'm going to land on the asphalt again. Okay, I don't want to touch down with full spoiler, so I'm going to, as we get down to flare, round out and flare, I'm going to reduce the spoiler beyond full and touch down. And brake. Okay. Thank you, Flarm. Okay, and we're down. Let's close up those spoilers. Look at all the bugs on my wing. Yuck. Okay, restart. Keeps the bugs every time. Okay, there's my tow plane. Let's go ahead and start again. So we've done some tows where where I got off tow early, 200 feet or 500 or 600 feet. Let's show what happens when you get off tow right as things get going. Okay. Up, they didn't hook up the tow rope properly. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to land straight ahead, and I'm going to pull spoiler because I want to land on the remaining runway. Okay, if you don't pull spoiler, things happen fast. If you don't pull spoiler, you'll probably just keep on going, and that's one of the most important things when you have a low premature termination of the tow. You want to pull that spoiler and get down. There we go. Okay, perfectly safe. Just land on the remaining runway. Okay, land straight ahead within 30 degrees. Restart that. The thing that most people find difficult right when they're learning to do tow, okay? Tow is actually surprisingly difficult because remember, you're flying in formation. It's formation flying. And so from the beginning of your first flight in a glider, you're trying to learn how to do formation flying. Tow ropes are usually about 200 feet long. They can be longer, they can be shorter, but 200 feet is pretty normal. And that's what I set it for in this right now in Condor here. Okay, so let's go ahead, ready for takeoff. Okay. What people find most difficult is keeping remember, first when your wheels are on the ground, you're a car. And you're driving not with the steering wheel, but with your feet. Okay, so you've got to keep your feet going in the correct direction, and then you're just leveling the wing you're leveling the wings with the stick. But if you ever get to a point where you drag your wing, oh, I'm dragging wing. Oh, let's just pop that right off there. Okay, if you drag a wing too much. Okay, your instructor will come in and help you, but if you drag a wing too much, beyond that, you need to pull the okay, brake. You need to pull the tow rope. Just pull. That's why you want to have your hand. You may not want to have your hand on Aerotow. I don't put my hand on the yellow knob for the tow rope for the tow release. I don't put it on there. Okay, I rest it to the side, like on the knee, just like the aircraft has it right here. Okay. and then once my knee is here, then I can reach over and grab it. Now, if you're doing winch launch, we'll do a different time. Then you actually do want to have your hand on the toe release, because things happen very quickly in winch launch. You have actually a significant amount more time with Aerotow. Different skills, both fun. Okay, so we started dragging a wing, so we pulled the tow rope there. Okay. Okay. C, B, sit. Okay. Set the trim. C, B, E. Emergency procedure below 200 feet, on the straight ahead. Above 200 feet, turn back to the field. Okay, so now we're going to do that the turn that's much more common for your initial rope breaks when you're practicing those, right, for takeoff. Okay. Give a thumbs up to my wing walker, and I'm going to keep my hand. There's a moving toe plane. Don't want bad things to happen. So the line's been hooked up. Okay, give thumbs up to level wings. Okay, I'll wag my wings, ready to go. He wags back, they go. Okay. Oop. Stay with him. Stay with him. Okay. Definitely wants me to pop up. So I definitely have to hold that forward stick. Use a little trim to help myself out. And 200 feet. Okay, and when you're getting towed, they're not going to just pull you out in a straight line, because then you're just getting further and further away from the airport. That's no good. That's not a safe thing. Okay, we're turning. Okay, and then see how we're already in a turn. Now is when your tow instructor, your glider instructor, is going to pull the cable in. I'm already in a turn, so I just keep the turn going. Okay. Hey, look, there's my airfield again. Okay, and now I don't have to make as much of a turn. It's a lot safer. I went up to about like 500 feet on that, so I've got more time. Okay, and I've already started a turn, so it tells the student that, hey, look, we're gonna just keep that turn going, and so they don't have to think about which direction to go. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop the spoilers open, coming at 3, 2. Okay, and I'm gonna transition to round out and flare. Okay, I'm gonna keep the wings level. Okay, and use the brakes. Oops, use the brakes. There we go. Close up those spoilers. Okay, that's a much more typical first tow line brake that you would get in training. Also, what you'd get on your check ride too. CB set CBE. Okay. Okay. Okay, we're on one wheel. Now we're on no wheels. Gonna hold forward stick. I find the simulator is actually harder than the real airplane. Okay, 200 feet. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to show some getting a little bit, getting some slack rope. Okay. Okay, so what your instructor will do is they'll get up high on there and they'll tell them that we need some slack line. You'll wait till at least you're above pattern altitude, above 1,000 feet. And then what you do is you dive on them, and that will give you the slack line. It doesn't show up quite as well in the game, I don't think, as real life. Let's go ahead. He is doing a very slow turn to the left. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to let myself get out position. Now I'm going to dive in on him. Okay. And so what we do is we hold out we yaw away with your outside rudder to yaw away from him if you ever get a slack line position, and then you bring it in, and then as it tightens again, then you let it come in. Okay, I'll show it. I'll get up a little high on him. Okay, tow plane, we're going to be doing some slack line. Okay, I'm going to get up. In the game, it's really hard. It's really easy to not be able to see him anymore. Okay. Okay, then you just dive down. You get slack line, and then what you can do is just use your rudder to come to the side. That'll help slow you down, and then once the rope gets tight again, that's when you let that rudder out. Okay. Now there are a couple of tow. So in addition to slack line, oh, tell me to get off. Time to get off. Okay. I'm gonna release. Okay, I go to the right. He goes to the left every time. Okay. Now let's on tow. There's a couple of items to remember. One is obviously one of the skills you'll demonstrate is slack line. You'll intentionally be given slack line, and then you have to correct it. And what we do is we just use the rudder pedals. We yaw. And what it does is it slows us down, and it also stretches the tow rope a little bit tighter. And so instead of it snapping really hard when the tow rope pulls it out, instead what you're allowing to do is you're allowing the tow plane, which is pivoted to the side, and then as the tow rope pulls it, it pulls you straight again. So instead of being a quick snap, it's more of a gentle tightening of the rope, and that's what you want there. Okay. The other thing that you have to demonstrate on tow is you have to demonstrate boxing the wake, and so we'll do that now. Okay, let's do a boxing of the wake. Okay, looks like we got a Piper Pawnee, which is perfect for this. Okay, box the wake. So this demonstrates that you can control the aircraft, the glider, completely on tow. Okay. Okay, CB sit, CBE. Below 200 feet, we'll land straight ahead. Select to the right of the tow plane. Above 200 feet, we'll turn back and land back here on the runway. Okay, and we're up. Okay, as we speed up, stay with him. Get a little bit out of position there. Keep him on the horizon. And 200 feet. And these types of maneuvers, like boxing the wake, slackline, things like that, you're going to do those if you have to get off for some reason. You're going to do these at an altitude above the traffic pattern. So you're going to do these basically always above 1,000 feet. Okay. Right now we're only about 700 feet off the ground right now. You wouldn't want to do any maneuvers ever on tow. Okay, at that altitude. Because if you don't want to get in a position where if you have to release during a maneuver that's not going well, you don't want to be in a position where you can't safely land again. Okay, remember a pattern tow is going to be 1,000 feet. Okay, and a pattern tow where you're just towing and then immediately going into land, that is basically the hardest thing you'll do in training, and you'll do a lot of that right before you solo, because everything happens very quickly, and it is a really good demonstration that you are able to do the tow and the landing. Okay, you do able to do it very quickly. Okay, now we're above 1,000 feet, so now I'm going to start boxing the wake. Oops, woo, that's the wrong button. So I'm going to get his tow plane, his tail plane. Ooh, I started getting in there. Up over to the left. Oh my goodness, got a little low here as I'm trying to explain this. Oh gosh, wow. There's that. Ah! My controls are not helping me out. Let's straighten out here. And we'll try it again. I pressed the wrong view direction, and so it really messed it up. Okay, so the things I want to be aware of when boxing the wake is where his struts are, where they're touching the fuselage in front. There are those white struts that are hitting the fuselage above his yellow wing. And then I also want to be aware of where his tail wheel is and where his tail plane is, his horizontal stabilizer. Because I want to get down low, such that look, I'm going to start getting into it. I went through his wake there. Look, I'm just going to come up again through it. There it is. It's shaking me. It's shaking me. It's shaking me. Okay. That's what we're going around. So behind the tow plane, back and below him is his wake. And what we're doing is we're showing, not only do we have wake awareness, and the first time you go into the wake, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting bumped around. It's bumpy, but it's not dangerous. It's just a little bumpy, okay? It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt the glider. It's not going to hurt the tow rope. It's not going to hurt him, okay? If I just descend a little bit into it, oh, there it is. It was shaking me, okay? And what we do is we draw a rectangle. There it is. I'm just showing you. I'm just sitting inside that wake, just showing you. It just bumps a little bit. You feel bumping. It's uncomfortable the first times you do it, but it's totally safe to fly through that. Okay. Okay, he's gonna waggle. He's gonna waggle me off. He's gonna wave his wings at me. Okay. And it really, in real life, they wouldn't do it in a turn. They would wait till they're straight and level again. So I need to get off. Okay. Again, he's going to turn to the left. I'm going to turn to the right. Okay. My flarm says that he's off my right wingtip now. Look, I'm not really seeing him. Okay, so he's ahead of me and down. Can't see him in this game. Okay, we're going to restart. And this I'm not going to. It's a lot easier to know where your head is pointed than always use the game controls. Okay. Actually, we're going to do a... We're going to get a different toe plane here. Okay. And we're going to get a different toe plane. I want a tail dragger, but I want the Pawnee again. I really want the Pawnee so we can see it. Boop. Okay, I really want the Pawnee. Super Cup is good, but I do want the Pawnee. I really want the Pawnee. You can actually remove the other toe planes from the lineup, and then you can get the same type of toe plane each time. Which if you're trying to practice the sight picture on a specific one, I think you should definitely have the toe plane that you have most commonly at your glider club. Probably in America, it's probably either going to be a Pawnee or some kind of Super Cub. Occasionally, you'll see Cessna 150s, 172s, 182s that have larger engines on them. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm holding the stick back 1 inch to 1.5 inches from neutral. Okay. Get up off the ground. Don't want to bounce back down on the ground. Definitely don't want to do that. Okay, it was slightly off to the right. I don't have to fly off to the right. I let the tow rope do the work. Okay, I'm ever so slightly off to the side like this. Okay, I'm not gonna fly. I'm not gonna try to fly back into position. Just let the tow rope. Remember, if the tow rope is off to my left right now, it's pulling me to the left. Okay, he's gonna start his turn. I'm gonna start turning with him. Match his angle of bank with the stick. Okay. Point at that about at that outside wingtip. Too much, so I'm going to reduce my angle of bank. Mastering toe is very difficult. I had a student, expert glider pilot in Japan, Hideo, but they flew off of winch, and coming over here to the United States, Aerotow was totally new to him. And in the air, he was great. Landing, great. But getting the Aerotow down was a new skill for him, and it was tough. Okay. So we just practice Aerotow again and again and again. Every once in a while, it'd be great soaring day, and we'd plan to do Aerotow training, and he would if it was a good enough soaring day, he'd say, I just want to soar today, and it'd be like, every once in a while he'd say, okay, but in order for him to get his glider's license, to be able to get a glider license here in America, our club uses tow planes, so he had to learn how to tow. Okay. So we're going to go ahead. As soon as he straightens out, we're going to do a box in the wake. So what we'll do is descend down through the wake. Okay. Go to the left corner, up, bring him, raise up to the horizon again, slide across. Okay. Okay. We're going to go down, descend down. Look at him. Okay. His tail plane is above it's above the strut. Okay. I'm going to go out to the side. I'm going to hope he doesn't start turning. Come up. Go across. I'm putting his rear wheel over his main. You're going to descend down again, slide over, and then come right back up again. That's boxing the wake. Okay? And it's really, we call it a box, but it's really, you're doing more of a rectangle. You're doing a rectangle where you go down, left, bottom left corner, bring him, go back up to the horizon, but you're off of his left. Then you come back, slide over to the right. Okay? Go down to the bottom right corner, go back to the center, and then come up again. Okay? And so it looks more like a rectangle in reality. But we're going down through the wake, we're going around it, underneath the wake, and then we're going through it again. Okay, and we're up to our altitude, so we'll go ahead and get off. Boxing the wake. And it's really a technique where we're learning to how to have wake aware, both awareness of the wake, and we're also demonstrating that we know how to move on tow. We can descend on tow, we can move left or right on tow, and we can do it in a controlled fashion. Okay? If you have any questions about how to do boxing the wake and things like that, just ask, and either your instructor at your glider club, or I can demonstrate more of it and show exactly how it's done here on in Condor. Condor is a great sim. Okay. Okay. ASK21, great glider. Great glider. The most recent thing I saw was that the ASK21 might be the most produced glider in the world now. The common gliders that you're going to find at your glider club, the common trainers, you'll find Grove 103. When I started at my club, it was still it was a Grove 103 club. Okay, still lots of Groves, very strong, great glider. We now do have an ASK21. Has very similar performance to the Grove. It's the nice thing about the ASK21, it has lighter stick forces, so it's not as much effort to just move your hand all the way over, all the way back. The Grove is a heavier aircraft. It's an earlier composite aircraft, and it just is built heavier. Oh, there's our tow plane getting ready to land. Coming in for a landing. He's abeam the numbers, and he's down. Okay, he's right there by the displaced threshold. Okay, and now he's going to stop midfield there, and he's already taxiing off. ASK21, great glider. It has a bit of a little bit more narrow of a cockpit. When I want to carry snacks on board, I find it more difficult to do that just because I don't have as much space to the side of me to do it. Whereas the Grove, it's a very, very it's a big cockpit. Okay, very spacious. So I can always stick snacks if I'm going to take a long flight, or stick a water bottle. Less space in the ASK21. I know our club used to have our club used to have a Blahnik before I got there. Very popular all metal glider, and that's still a very, very popular one. Blahniks L13s and L23 Super Blahniks, very, very popular gliders. Those are, I think, back in production now, and you can get those. Those aluminum Blahniks, great training gliders. Our club also has a PW6. It's the 2-seat version of the PW5. You'll still see a good number of those out there. They're very good. Okay. And then a lot of clubs still have good old 2-seat Schweitzers, particularly here in America. A lot of 2-seat Schweitzers. Very good gliders. Usually the fuselage is a steel tube with fabric covering, and then the wing will usually be aluminum on those. Okay. Okay. And I'm just flying around here as we talked about, as we finished talking up about how to do Aerotow. Okay. Aerotow, while it is the first thing you experience when you're in a glider, it's actually one of the hardest things. I think it's the hardest thing of learning to fly a glider is flying the Aerotow, because what happens is when you're in free flight, like right now, you're moving and you don't care what's going on with the ground below you. Okay. This is the easiest part. Okay. I just fly the direction I want to go. If I want to turn left, I turn left. If I want to turn right, I turn right. Okay. I can speed up by pointing the nose down. And I can slow down by pulling the nose up. Okay. We can see the airspeed is bleeding off there. Okay. Very easy. When you're landing, I think is the second hardest thing, because you're moving, but the ground isn't moving. So you've got to line up with the airfield, which in our case is to our 9 o'clock low there. Okay. And the airfield is, and so landing I think is the second hardest, because there's something fixed, the runway, and you want to get to it. The hardest I think is absolutely tow, because now you've got two things that are moving. You're moving and he's moving. So in free flight, you're moving, no one else is moving, and you don't care about anything else. During landing, you're moving, but the ground isn't moving, but you got to line up with it. In tow, you got two people that are moving. You got the tow plane and you've got your own glider. Okay. Okay, we're down to 3,100 feet. So about 1,500 feet in the air. Okay, this is a really good time to start planning our return to the field. I am do one more turn here. I'm going to set up on a nice normal 45. Okay, nice traditional 45 degree entry to left downwind, runway 14. Okay, let's look over the airfield. Always want to know where you're going to land. Always wanting to know where you land. Okay. Particularly when you're starting out, you want to give yourself lots of time. Undercarriage, down and locked. U-stall. Okay, so U-stalls are before landing checklist. Undercarriage, down and locked. Speed, 50 in this glider. Trim is set. We'll set trim for neutral. Okay. Air brakes. Let's look out. Open those air brakes up. Okay, they work just fine. Close them up. Okay, look and land. Okay, I'm a little tight in there. Okay, look and land. Okay, we got a windsock in that little circle there. There's a windsock in the smaller circle. Okay, it's limp, so I don't have to worry about any crosswinds. And then I am going to, and the also the runway is clear. Okay, as I fly around. Ooh. So look at land. Okay, Leshblad traffic. This is ASK 533 Romeo Sierra, left downwind, runway 14. Okay, I'm gonna fly a little bit beyond there. Start using spoilers to come down. Remember, a glider very, very aerodynamically efficient. If I don't open those spoilers up, If I don't open those spoilers up, I can easily fly right past the airport. Okay, left bed traffic. This is ASK 533 Romeo Sierra, left base, runway 14. Okay. Ooh, getting fast. Nose is too low. Okay, getting fast. I can hear it. I can hear that I'm getting too fast. Left bed traffic. This is ASK 533 Romeo Sierra, final, runway 14. Okay, we land beyond that displaced threshold. And brake. Very good. Okay. So that's Aerotow for you. Okay. If you have any questions, just post a comment and we can look at it next time.